Hello everybody, welcome back to the workshop. So in this video I hope to answer another question about anvils that oftentimes comes up since we're doing this year of the anvil. If you don't know what the year of the anvil is, you should stick around the channel, hit that subscribe and the bell notifications. As we continue out through the whole year of 2020, we'll be giving away one Achaio anvil. If you don't know what those are those 66-pound little dual horn anvils that you can get on Amazon or eBay. We'll be giving away one of those every single month during one of our live streams during the month. So we'll be giving away a total of 12 free anvils this year at no charge to you, as long as you're living in the 48 states of the United States. But we also have a bunch of door prizes and things like that that are just great beginner blacksmithing tools and things of that nature that you'll definitely want to check out our live streams for. But beyond all that, you should be subscribing because of great content anyhow. And we're all talking about the things that we love the most and we covet the most, which is the anvil. So let's get right into it. What's the question? Let's deliver on that promise of what is the question here that I'm getting into. I am getting quite a few questions on what is a good hardness, Rockwell hardness, for a good anvil. And before I answer that, I want to take and talk about this anvil right here. I purchased this anvil at a scrapyard many years ago. I used it for my demonstration anvil for quite some time and carrying it around. This is exactly 100 pounds, and to the best of my knowledge and research, this is a colonial pattern anvil. This is a wrought iron anvil with a steel top that has been welded in. And a really long time ago, I should say. It does not have a pritchel hole in it. It's got a pretty decent horn, although somebody's decided to mash on the end of it, probably making, who knows, bottle opener enlarging a hole or something. Pretty common occurrence on old anvils, you'll see. And it's got a pretty tiny little hardy hole of only 5/8 inch square or 16 mil for you all there across the pond. Other than that, pretty simple dimensions. It's got like a 3-inch face, I believe, 3 3/4 inch face, roughly, to it, and in width, and about 10.5 inches long. I'm not going to attempt metric on camera for that. You guys can put that in there. So before I do anything, I'm going to test this with a hardness testing kit. These little Subosan Rockwell testing things for HRC Rockwell, or C hardness on the C scale. It goes from 40 to 65. I'll put an Amazon affiliate link for these down in the description. If you want to go get those at no additional cost to you, they go to taking and helping out the channel. So before I do that, drop in the comment section. Do you think this anvil is a good anvil? Would you purchase this anvil? If you saw this online, would you do it? Pause the video, ask yourself that question based upon what you're seeing in front of you presented. For the majority of us, we would say yes, right? It fits the bill of an anvil. It is not a cast iron anvil. It's a wrought iron anvil with a steel top welded on it. Well, that's sweet. The edges on it aren't the most pristine things in the world, but for the most part, they're not all blown away. They are there, so you can make use of them. You can always dress it a little bit if you needed to. It's got a good, decent horn. It's not all ovular in shape or anything like that. Again, it's got a nice shape to it. It's pleasing to the eye, and it would fit the blacksmith's description. So, keeping all that in mind, how much does hardness really matter? And it's my assertion that the hardness portion of any sort of debate is not necessarily the main key factor that you need to be looking into of whether an anvil is good quality or not. I like this anvil for a lot of reasons. I like it for the person I bought it from. I like it for where I was at in life when I bought it. I like it that I can take it around to shows and it has that historic look to it. I like that it's old. I like that it fits the bill. It still walks and talks like an anvil. You can make it do all the things that you need an anvil to do. So it fulfills all those criteria for me, and I personally really couldn't care less what the hardness value of this anvil is, and you know, it just fits the bill of the anvil. That's my personal assertions, but we will go ahead and test this, and then maybe we'll answer that question of what a good anvil is for you. All right, let's get right into it. I'm going to go ahead and start at the highest end, which is the 65 Rockwell. I'm going to try to be as non-destructive as I can, and since this is a wear spot anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and use this on the anvil surface, and it bites and it scratches right in. I did not break out the macro lens for this. You're just going to trust me on that. There is a scratch right there. I didn't want to break out the macro and set up all for that because that's not the point of this video. I'm going to go ahead and scratch it with the 60. Of course it scratches. I'm going to go ahead and scratch it with the 55. Of course it scratches. You got to start thinking to yourself, man, it's less than 55, so this is probably a dud of an anvil. Let's go ahead and scratch it again. And about 50, we're starting to get, it's scratching, but it's not as grippy. So it's starting to lose that grip to it at 50. We're going to go down to 45 Rockwell. And there, it's moving rust, but it is not scratching the surface. It's not grabbing the surface anymore. So we'll go down to 40, and even 40 will remove the rust off of it. But again, it's not peeling the surface. So way over here at 60, there was a clear definitive line where it was peeling the surface. Well, at 65 it was, at 60 it was, at 55 it was, at 50 it started losing traction, at 45 it was sliding, it was just removing the rust off the surface of the anvil, and then, you know, and there you go, down to say 40 Rockwell. Again, it was just slipping and sliding. So this most likely is between about 45 and 50 Rockwell. So is that acceptable? Is that acceptable for an anvil? Will that work for you? Will that actually do what you need it to do? By the way, these little testing kits, I'm really liking these. I really like this thing. I'm still waiting on my Lieb. I'm still waiting on being able to purchase my Lieb Rebound test kit. Basically, it's a hardness tester that uses a lot of science and big words Roy don't know how to pronounce to test the hardness of a surface of an anvil. And again, it does it out in a digital readout, which will be nice because then, you know, I can retire those to other type of testing things, and I can use the digital one, and we can get to the point quicker, huh? That sounds good. So with that all in mind, let's do the all-important, you can never get around it, rebound test, right? So we got this little ball bearing here, 1018. There you go. So that's the rebound of it. I've actually got a piece of test equipment that I can put on here that will measure this more accurately, this amount of rebound here. Although the surface here is actually unlevel on the face, so it wouldn't work as well. So I need to come up with a different design so this way it'll fit more anvils, if you will. The one I've got, I've made kind of big, and so therefore if you put it on here, it would be off-centered and wouldn't work all that well. But you see the rebound out of it. Some of you would say that's a good amount of rebound. Some would say it's not. There's no, now there's a little bit of ringing, but not much. So is that a good anvil? You decide. You decide. When you're looking at factory-made anvils, if you're judging it based solely on hardness, usually something in the 52 to say 55 Rockwell area is about what you can expect. Some anvil manufacturers make theirs a little softer and a little tougher. Some of them make them a little more towards the brittle side, hover towards that higher 50s. getting even closer into the 60s, like 58 Rockwell or so. It all depends on the brand, the anvil manufacturer themselves, and what type of material they're making the anvil from is really going to dictate a lot about, say, its finish hardness and its characteristics of toughness. You want toughness in an anvil, not necessarily brittleness. You don't want brittleness in an anvil. You don't want something to crack off or snap off in use. You want it to be tough. You want it to be able to take a beating for the rest of your life, right? Like that's really what you're looking for in an anvil. So don't discount it if it's under 50 Rockwell. Just know that the surface will dent more and it'll be less surface abrasion resistance. So, keep that in mind when you're going to take and purchase an anvil. Usually, if you're right around that, 50 Rockwell range on up, that is a good general rule of thumb to purchase an anvil at. But as I said at the beginning of this video, I do not believe hardness is the main characteristic that is important in an anvil. It needs to fit and suit the work that you need it to do. That is the number one, in my opinion, most important characteristic. So I hope that'll answer some questions for you. I know I was a bit mystic with it at first. I hope you could bear with me through that. I liked posing those thoughts and thinking that out. Having you all think that out instead of me just running my mouth giving you like, this is the only way. You guys figure it out for yourselves. I can just only impart my certain take on the matter. Without dragging this video out any longer, thank you all so much for watching it. If you have any questions, or if you want to take and drop your own thoughts and theories on the subject, go ahead and drop them in the comments section. Just remember to do so cordially. So that's it for today. As always, God bless you. Thank you so much for watching. And again, join us for one of our live streams for this whole year of the great Year of the Anvil 2020. So that's it. God bless. We'll catch you later.